Well, hello there. Today is Tuesday, June 10th, and you're watching News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in Los Angeles, where turmoil continuing for a fourth day with more confrontations between law enforcement and some demonstrators protesting recent immigration raids in the area. Maribel Gonzalez is in Los Angeles and has more.
Another standoff in Los Angeles during the fourth day of demonstrations in response to immigration raids across the area. Law enforcement agents throwing flashbangs and firing rubber bullets at a crowd of protesters in the downtown area. Military officials say approximately 1,700 National Guardsmen are on the ground, with an additional 2,000 to be sent by President Donald Trump to protect federal property and personnel. This deployment at the center of a political showdown between the state and federal governments.
Judge Governor Newsom and the Democratic leaders of California weren't quick enough to act. I think President Trump did exactly the right thing.
California Governor Gavin Newsom declaring the call-up of the troops unconstitutional and is now suing the Trump administration.
With this order, Trump and Hegseth ignored law enforcement's expertise and guidance and trampled over our state's, California's, sovereignty.
And now more reinforcement could be on the way. The U.S. Northern Command activating about 700 Marines.
I can't emphasize enough the level of fear and terror that is in Angelenos right now, not knowing if tomorrow or tonight it might be where they live, it might be their workplace. Should you send your kids to school?
Maribel Gonzalez, Los Angeles.
Closer to home, 2 New Yorkers are in jail in Nebraska, accused of transporting drugs along I-80. 25-year-old Miguel de Salarudicindo and 31-year-old Judas Cabrera Nunez were arrested after a traffic stop near Lexington. The Nebraska State Patrol says a search of the duo's vehicle turned up several packages of suspected fentanyl and cocaine, about 23 pounds worth. Both are being held in Dawson County on charges of possession with intent to deliver. A southeast Nebraska pharmacy, the victim of a burglary for the third time in the last 4 years. Lancaster County Sheriff's officials said Monday they were called to a suspicious vehicle at the Meadowlark Pharmacy in Hickman. Deputies found the drive-through window had been smashed in and determined that burglars had targeted the pharmacy. Again, now law enforcement are checking to see if these repeat burglaries are related.
This pharmacy was broken into about a year ago, and then again about 2 years ago. So we're looking to see if there's any similarity at all. Don't know that there is. It's long enough time to where there's no direct connection right now.
A similar break-in happened at that same pharmacy last May, causing about $1,000 worth of damage, and about $2,500 worth of drugs were stolen the first time the pharmacy was targeted back in 2021. Congress may soon be discussing a bill designed to prevent agro-terrorism, attacks aimed at disrupting the food supply. Ophelie Jacobson has the story.
It's that time of the year again when corn and soybeans are growing, and Grant Kimberly is keeping busy.
Overall, things are looking pretty good.
But concerns are also growing.
We certainly use a lot of technology on our farms
about the potential threat of agro-terrorism.
So we want to make sure that we protect the technologies and ultimately so we can grow a safe, affordable, and sustainable food supply.
We are putting forward a plant act.
Republican Congressman Zach Nunn says he has a solution, and it's laid out in a new piece of legislation Nunn says he's bringing to Washington, D.C.
And that is really to be able to establish the ability to help defend the type of ag that's grown here in the United States.
The bill establishes a new criminal offense for knowingly or recklessly importing, transporting, or possessing high-risk agricultural biological agents not authorized by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Violators could face up to 20 years in prison.
So this is not a red or a blue issue. This is a national security issue.
The bill comes nearly a week after 2 Chinese nationals were federally charged in Michigan with smuggling a fungus described as a potential agro-terrorism weapon into the United States.
So this looks to make sure that we have a federal law that will hold individuals like this accountable, and that any administration in power has to respond to the law here.
Nunn says the bill will also give new tools to several government agencies to prevent agro-terrorism. Kimberly says that the bill becomes law.
A country needs to have strong safe, affordable food, to be self-sufficient.
Everyone will reap the benefits.
Workers at a central Nebraska meatpacking plant are heading to work with a new labor contract. The United Food and Commercial Workers Union announced Monday that workers at the JBS Swift plant in Grand Island and 13 other plants around the country have ratified a new contract. Among the perks of the new deal, wage hikes to between $23 and $24 an hour, a new paid sick leave program, and a new pension fund. There are also increases in paid vacation. A new national survey of economic experts shows recession fears are on a bit of an upswing. The findings are from the Center for Audit Quality, which gathered feedback from the nation's leading public company audit firms. They serve clients in a wide range of industries, from retail to mining. The spring survey shows pessimism about the U.S. economy surged to 44% compared to just 10% last fall. Optimism fell to 15%. The center says there are a handful of key factors behind those sentiments.
Concern about a recession, ongoing geopolitical instability, and tariff uncertainty. Those are the top three areas where audit partners are seeing companies concerned over the next 12 months.
54% of respondents said companies in their sectors are beginning layoffs, but nearly half are also making an effort to boost the skills of existing staff. The survey also shows artificial intelligence has major appeal right now.
The companies in the industries that they audit are mainly pursuing the use of AI to enhance customer experiences, services, and support, as well as automate some work processes.
Despite the recent passage of the Genius Act, survey results show American companies feel the situation still isn't right yet to jump into the cryptocurrency market. 96% of respondents said their clients aren't having talks right now about that type of investment. Well, it's going to cost you more to cool your home this summer. There are some things you can do, though, to help lower those costs. Jen Sullivan has tips on how to lower your utility bills this summer.
Summers are getting hotter, and more areas of the country are seeing significant heat waves, and those high temperatures are driving up energy costs as people try and stay cool.
As we're seeing higher temperatures, people are flocking inside and keeping their air conditioners turned up.
Jennifer Amon with the American Council for an Energy Efficient Economy, known as ACEEE, says rising temperatures means rising prices.
We really are seeing this happening across the country.
This year, the average electric bill between June and September is projected to reach $784, according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association. That's more than 4% higher than last year when adjusted for inflation. Depending on where you live, those costs could be higher or lower.
People can be really shocked when they get those first bills, particularly if their rates have changed in their region.
There are things you can do to help cut those rising costs.
One of the best things you can do is insulate your home. Insulate and air seal.
Raising the temperature on your thermostat by even 2 degrees when you're not home can help.
You can set it up a few degrees and you'll save, 5 to 10% on your cooling.
Other things you can do: make sure your HVAC system isn't more than 20 years old. Shades can make a big difference in keeping rooms cool. Eamon says don't use your dryer, dishwasher, or even the oven in the middle of the day. All of those appliances generate heat and will make your house hotter. And only use ceiling fans in occupied rooms. Otherwise, it's just going to waste energy. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
A central Nebraska city continuing to expand in housing by approving a new housing development project, bringing dozens of homes and apartments. The Hastings City Council unanimously approved a preliminary plat for the Cedar Park subdivision 6-0 Monday night. The development aims to bring 58 units to the southeast part of Hastings in the form of 10 townhomes and an apartment complex with 48 units. The land's just under 4 acres, mainly open land besides that singular house that will be demolished. The Lincoln-based developer has not yet released a timeline for when work will begin. And finally, the cost of getting a bite to eat at school going up in southeast Nebraska. Beatrice Public Schools increasing the cost of breakfast and lunch this coming school year, but it still beats the price at your favorite fast food restaurant by a long shot. The school board enacted an across-the-board 10-cent increase.
Last year, if you look at the document attached, we increased our the prices by 10 cents. This year, we are needing to increase the prices by 10 cents as well to continue to maintain our growth. If we chose, our nutrition services budget does a great job. If we chose to not increase, we could do that. But then what would happen is we would start increasing by 20 cents, by 30 cents, by 50 cents in 1 year. I would rather do small incremental raises because that tends to make sense.
Assistant Superintendent Dr. Jackie Nielsen says the past year, Beatrice Public Schools got about $3,200 in private donations to support school lunches. Superintendent Jason Alexander says the district has always been able to feed every student, even at a slight program deficit. At the elementary level, the district sees about 65% of families apply for free and reduced price lunches. Depending on the grade level this coming year, school breakfast and lunch costs will range from $2.60 to $3.50. You can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online, where it's still free. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. This is News Channel Nebraska.